These are the some sources where we can usually will get the secondary data sources. And what else? There are some precautions on the secondary data, whether the data is reliable or not, which way from where, who has been collected. These are the common details that we need when we are looking at the secondary data. And when you are collecting from where and how, from where we are collecting the data, and then we have made some set of references we have made, and then now we need to take the suitability for that particular data. We should not take the whole data that we collected. So whatever the data that is suitable for our research, that we are going to take, that is called suitability of the data, and then adequacy of data. Then when you are collecting and then when you are using, you should make sure that how much level of accuracy it is found to be adequate. If it is not adequate, then you have to look at the other kind of data. As we know, the recent days, what is happening, like most of the time, most probably not in the sciences, I think in engineering, students usually do. Like when we give the project, like even maybe undergraduate students also will do the same thing. When you ask us to do the project, what they will do, they will come up with some Google links, and then they're going to keep those links, and then they will ask us to publish in some journals. But when he has been given that particular data, you have to look at that whether that is valid or not, and then you need to go for the publication. Otherwise, once when you submit the same whatever the data that we have been given with the Google links, that will be stored in the database. Whenever your name, if you are submitting from your name, automatically you are going to be in a blacklist, because the Google links are not at all not valid. When he is going to have editor is going to have one search button, then he is going to, when he is going to search, automatically the data whatever have been represented in the article, it is going to display as not available, not available. So whenever the editor is going to form more than 5 articles as a correct, then automatically he is going to reject the article in the initial stage. So sometimes if you are submitting same kind of article in 2 or 3 in the same journal, then automatically after that, if you do the quality work also, you are going to be blacklisted. So be careful when you are taking the secondary data, and then when you are making use in a different perspective. And there are some advantages and disadvantages are available that we have discussed in the last class. And when you are collecting the data, there are some appropriate method to collect the data collection. So we need to look at what is the scope and what is our object. So both the things you need to look at, and then we have to collect the data. Then we need to look at the funds also. So if we are not having the funds, then implementing of the particular project is very difficult for us, right? In an Indian context, we have very less infrastructure as well. So when you go for the implementation, it depends on the infrastructure that what we have. We have to look at the funds, and then you need to proceed further. Then time factor. So time factor also is very important factor in when you are doing the research, because see, sometimes what happen, if you say the minimum duration in PhD full time is like maximum 6 years, they may take 3 to 6 years. But if you say like I am doing the new work, I need some 10 to 15 years, they're not going to consider at all. So we need time factor also. Time factor also very important. Based on this three like funds, availability of funds, and nature and scope of our topic, and then time factor. By considering this, all the characteristics, we need to proceed. And precision also required. Means if you are, even though sometimes what happens, precision, like as I already in the last class we discussed, I think, like precision is nothing but suppose there is a physics experiment, those who are going to do the gravitational value, G value we are going usually common value is 9.8. Sometimes some people will get 10, some people will get 10, 15 and 20, some people will get less also, 6, 5. So that precision, how much precision you are required, that you have to fix and then you have to work on it. And I think we are stopped at case study methods. So today we'll discuss about completely case study methods, characteristics and limitations, advantages and scope as well. So if you see the case study methods, right?
Sir, we read till characteristics. I
Characteristics,
think evaluation and scope will be today. That's what is
characteristics
happening.
also is completed, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is completed, madam. That's
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes,
Up
sir.
till characteristics, it was completed, sir.
up to
Completed.
characteristic it was done. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Thank you. Then okay, fine. Thank you. So I think case study, what is meant by case study, we have already discussed. Like it is going to give us the qualitative analysis of the complete observation of some small unit. That's what the meaning of case study method. And in the case study method, there are different things that are involved. The different scientists has given it their own way. I think this is done. And the characteristics. This also done, madam.
Yes, sir. It's
Uh,
completed, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
This was the
Done.
last.
Yeah. So now evaluation and scope of the case study. So the case study method widely used in recent days, the socialism these days. If you see in the recent days, most of the time case studies are done for the sociology studies because they are going to look at the history and then they are going to do the new kind of things. They are going to implement the things that have happened in the future past. That means what are the drawbacks that they have there, those things they are going to give us and then they are going to do some kind of analysis. So the initially, that's what here we have meaning. The case study method is widely used systematic field research technique in sociology in these days. Initially, the initially, the social investigation has been introduced by Frederick Lee Play, who used as handmade to statistics in studies of family budget. So, about the case study in the sociology, Frederick Lee has been introduced to conduct some small statistics of his family budget. He has been used case study for the to know the how much budget he is going to invest in a year or particular year to year, or sometimes he has been based on the means if suppose if he, this particular month he has spent more money, then next time he is going to have some kind of idea, then he is going to reduce and then he is going to save some more money. And Albert Spencer was the first. He is the person to use the case material in his comparative study of different cultures. So in sociology, another person has been studied the case study for the different cultures that are available in the either like if it is Indian cultures or whatever cultures in his cultures. So he has been compared and then he has been elaborated study about the different cultures in his country. And then another one, Dr. William Haley uh, has given resorted to this method in his study of declinancy and considered it as a better method over above the above mentioned use of the statistical data. Like he has used it for the some histograms, novelist, dramatist, how this case study method can be used in different areas of, like some people will do the historians histograms and those who are dramatists, different kinds of dramatists they have. So they are going to give different like Indian culture, even in Indian cultures also we have different dramas in different areas. So about those kind of topics has been done the initially. So these are the some scientists, they have been done case study in the initial days. And there are some assumptions in the case studies. When you are looking at the case study, there are some important assumptions. The assumptions are the assumption of uniformity in the basic human nature, in spite of the fact that human behavior may vary according to the situation. So you need to like, what does it mean exactly? See here, like suppose sometimes what happens when you are looking at some experiment, you may be assuming some kind of things, but sometimes what will happen if suppose whatever the expected results you are getting more than that, what you are going to do? You are going to proceed further. Means depends on the situation, we are going to move, right? So behavior may vary according to the situation. And second one, case study, the give us the studying the natural history of the unit concern. So now you have to decide that when you are when you have decided to do the case study, it is going to give us a complete study of that particular unit. Like as we already discussed, if suppose those who are working in the technological and just look at the technological field in some specific field. Like suppose if you see in the material science, we used to have different kinds of materials. Nowadays they are looking at the alloys. Suppose if you want to study the whole history of the alloys, so what you have to do, we have to take only the allied properties and then we are going to do the only about that particular topic. And before going to allies, then we can also look at the some nanoparticle. But sometimes what happens, instead of having that allies, suppose you have decided allies, but so if you have some other material you are instructed, if you going in other way, then the case study will not going to be done in a correct time, because whatever the things that you have been made initially, according to you have to move. Then comprehensive study of the unit concern, and case study method also will give us the comprehensive study of the unit, whatever the topic that you are going to concern. Then let us look at the different phases that are involved in the case study methods. There are many phases are available. There are mainly, just look at here, then major phases involved in this case study methods are as follows. First one is recognition and determination of the status of the phenomenon to be investigated or the unit of the attention. So the first step is we need to recognize the topic that what we want to look at, and you need to restrict that particular topic. And second step is once you have decided the particular topic, then you have to start collecting the data and you have to investigate the data and you need to understand the background of that particular data. I think some disturbance. Background of that particular, and background is nothing but history of the unit, that the topic that you have been considered. And let's suppose those who are working in the diagnosis things, what they will do, they are going to identify the diagnosis and the identification of causal factors as a basis for the remedial or developmental treatment. So initial stage, what once you are done with the collection of data and you are understand the history or the background of the particular phenomena that has been done, and now when you look at the when you are starting the causal factors, means suppose some experiment you have been done, but you are looking at the like some particular like let us take some fever. So in the fever, what when you are looking at the, we have been collected what are the different kinds of fevers, all the data. Now you started the diagnosis process. So from there, what will happen? You can identify the different factors that are going to be happen for this particular fever. And then, so once you know the factors, then it is easy for us to develop the treatment, because you know what is the factor why this particular fever has come. So these are some common things that can be that you need to identify once you have been done collection and like once you are done with the collection of the data and you have been analyzed the data, the previous data. And then with respect to that, we have to follow the application of remedial measures like treatment and therapy. Means when you are once you are done with that, then you have to go for the practical implication, and you are going to see how this can be applied in a different perspective. When you are doing the experiment, you can identify suppose different kinds of results you may be observing sometimes. Then you can see when you are receiving this kind of situation, how you are going to approach that particular kind of situation. So these are the common things you need to look at when you are doing the experimental analysis, and also determine the effectiveness of the treatment applied. Means here, and also the methodology. Suppose you have decided some methodology you apply. So you need to identify how much how much effectively will work this particular method. Because these things you can come to know because when you are doing the case study, we are going to look at the secondary data. There you will get the complete information, right? So when you identify this particular method, if you apply this particular situation, what is going to happen? Similarly, you can change the methodology as well. Depends on the situation and depends on the requirement. And there are some limitations in the case study methods. So the case study method will tells us history in his own words. In general, we cannot compare, but we can say generally. But it will give us the history in his own words. We have been analyzing the case study, and then we are giving the things that according to our knowledge. Like suppose there are the persons those who are being implemented, but the same results you are going to take in a different perspective. Like suppose see, if I say the magnetic field increased with the velocity, the reverse one you can say the effect of magnetic field increase the velocity profile. The content will be same, but we are going to give us our own words. So here, since the subject under this case study method tells us history in his own words, and also it will give us the logical concepts and units of scientific classification have to be read into it out of by the investigator. So when you are looking at the case study method, the limitation what the things is like anyway we are going to get the history of that particular topic, and then it is also sometimes if you look at the logical thinking, also logical concept, what has happened in that particular event or particular experiment, then and it also gives us the scientific classifications. So when you are so it depends on you. These are some common things that in generally they have given the limitations. But sometimes if you have a scientific classifications, you just give the scientific classifications, and then you have to move further. And another limitation is the danger of false generalization is always there in view of the fact that no set rules are followed in collection of the information and only few units are studied. That means sometimes we have been collected data, but that may be wrong. What we are going to do, we have not been verified with the information that we have done. And then what we will do, we are going to proceed with the same way. And also, we are not going to, like suppose, I will just, suppose you are looking at the some magnetic influence of in some particular experiment and some in a societal, environmental. So now when you are looking at the magnetic influence in environmental, what will happen? Magnetic may affect in a different perspective. Not only environment, even human body also it will affect, and the entire universe, the magnetic field will affect, right? But what will happen when you are collecting the data? We used to go only specific domain, what you have been constrained, right? So that's where, that's what we have mentioned here. The danger of false generalization is always there in view of the fact that no set rules are followed in collection of the information and only few units are studied. Then next, it consumes more time and requires a lot of expenditure, because we, when you are looking at the case study, what will happen? We have to start from the basic level, right? Means you maybe you have to, if you want to identify the hybrid non-hybrid modeling, what you have to do, you have to understand what is meant by first base model and then hybrid model. Once you implement a base model, then you have to implement hybrid model, then you need to analyze the things, right? So that means it will take more time and it requires a lot of expenditure as well, because those who are working in the experimentally, for them it may be more expenses as well, and more time is needed under case study method, since our studies the natural history cycles of social units, and that too minutely. Like suppose, as we mentioned, anyway it is going to consume more time, because if you want to implement one case study, minimum we need to refer a lot of research articles, and we have to give the gap also, literature gap, what has happened in the particular year to till today date. Like let us take, suppose if you want to look at the security system, and the security system where it has been started, you have to know, and what is meant by security system, then how it has been introduced, then how it has been changed. So initial days, what is the security system, then next level of the security system, and next level of the security system, and today what we have the security system. So this is the way we have to give the complete overview of that particular unit. So that's why it is going to take more time and expenses also more. And case study method is based on several assumptions, which may not be very realistic at times, sometimes, not all the times, at sometimes. And as such, as the usefulness of the case study, case data is always subject to doubt, because the case study what we are doing, we are going to implement the things that has been already implemented. So sometimes what happen, it may or may not, we don't know exactly. So what we feel like, sometimes if you try to implement the experiment that has been already done and it has been published also, the same thing if you try to implement, sometimes what happen, we are not going to get exactly. But the researchers most commonly what they will do, they are not going to provide all the assumptions that they have made sometimes. So in that cases, what will happen? You are not going to get the exact, the realistic data. Then whatever the data that you have been, you may get some doubt on that particular data. Then it is very difficult for you to proceed further. So these are the common things, some limitations that are there in the case study methods, and some other are like case study method can be used only in a limited sphere. It is not possible to use in case of the big society. As we said, like suppose, what does it mean exactly? Like as just now we have discussed security system, right? If suppose the security system, if you are looking at the security system, we have to do only security in a particular perspective. Whether it may be security may be there in many places, right? Cyber security is cyber security also nowadays it has been very big concern, right? So when you are look at the big society, it is very difficult for us to implement. But and it will take time also. When you are, that's why he has mentioned that we have to look at the limited sphere. What does it mean? We have to take the specific part of where you want to apply security system. Let us take the security system in the mobile, security system in the laptops, security system in the whatever you have, like iPads, because different. If you try to look at all the things in one time, what will happen? That properties that they have for the system is different. The properties that they have for the mobile is different. The properties that are available for the iPad is different. So all these things you need to consider. That's why when you start implementing for the small unit, then you can extend that to the rest of the part. So that's where they have mentioned that it has been used in a limited sphere. Then response of the investigator is an important limitation of the case study method. And he often thinks that he has full knowledge of the unit and can himself answer about it. In the case the same is not true, then consequences he has to face. In fact, this is more fault of the researcher rather than the that of the case study method, because most of the sometimes we used to see this kind of researchers as well. So while they feel that they know everything, whatever they are going to do, the experiment is moving in a perfect way. I know everything. Whatever the situation, if it comes, I know how to control. They may feel in that way. So when you are doing with this confidence, the experimental study, sometimes you'll get kickbacks. Then you need to face the problems, because sometimes what happen, the experiment whatever you are going to do, it's not a small valuable, right? You are expensing more time, you are expending the expenditure more, and you are doing. If you have this kind of attitudes, then definitely you are going to face the problem. This is also one limitation of the case study method. Then let us look at the advantages of the case study method. There are many advantages are available for the case study method, and this method enables the researchers to trace out the natural history of the social unit. Like it will give us the complete history of the unit or particular topic that have been considered, and its relationship with the social factors, means what are the topic that you consider in that particular topic, what are the factors that we have. In that we can identify the relation, because we have been implemented the case study, then about some particular topic, then you can identify the factors that are involved in that particular unit, and then you can give the relationship as well. So social factors and the forces involved in its surrounding environment. So this is where case study method will help us, and it helps in formulating relevant hypothesis data along with the data, which may be helpful in testing them. And also case studies enables the generalized knowledge to get richer and richer. Means when you are done case study, you can able to formulate about that particular topic, and you can give some hypothesis. You can say about that particular result, so and so effect has been shown more effect than this kind of situations. And you can say different, suppose if you say like magnetic has been uh, affected more in the environmental compared to the societal impact, like some instrument. So in manufacturing process, there are different kinds we have, right? All the kinds we can get to know how this particular effect has been impacted in a different perspective, so that you can get to know, means you will be knowing the complete details about that particular unit. So that's where he has mentioned that you are going to be a generalized knowledge to get richer and richer. You can give the generalized there of the result. Someone is disturbing. Okay. Next is like information collected under this case study method will help a lot to the researchers in the task of constructing the appropriate questionnaire or schedule for the task required through the knowledge of the concerning universe. Means once you are done with the case study method, you can make constructive questions appropriate, like it has been started from the basic level and to the up to date. So now he knows the things well, so he can make very well the question here. Once he has been implement, once he has done with the case study, then he will be, he can ask randomly the question here. Next, because it has been implemented practically and then it has been analyzed the complete structure of that particular unit. Next, see, the case study method has proved beneficial in determining the nature of units to be studied along with the nature of the universe. This is the reason why at all the times the case study method is alternatively known as mode of the organizing the data. So case study method has been in recent days, if you see, because the researchers that recently they are coming, they are not going to have the basic things like what they are doing in recent days. They are modifying the syllabus, and according to the present trend, they are directly giving the particular topics that are related to the present trend. So what will happen when he is going to look at the basic level, then he is going to miss that particular data. But when he started doing the case study, then he has to do from the basic level. Then he come to know where he has to organize the particular data, where I have to do the particular reference. Suppose if you're working on some particular article, also what he can do, when he has been done in a particular about particular topic, then now he can organize the data. Like suppose you have to start from the basic level. I suppose material science in a chemistry. Material science has been where it has been started. That you have to give in a one paragraph. Next, how material has been impacted in a middle year, like recent last 10 years, and now recent days how this has been impacted. So these are the things. Means step by step you have to give, right? You have collected the complete data, and we have been implemented. Now you know where and from where you have to take, and from where you have to implement, and where you have to keep that particular data. So that's why case study method in recent days they are saying that mode of the organizing the data. And next point, this method is well understand the past of the social unit because of its emphasis of historical analysis. Besides, it is also a technique to suggest measures for the improvement in the context of present environment of the concerned social unit. So it will give us anyway the previously whatever the data, whatever the things that have been done, and also it will give us the empirical historical analysis of that particular unit, and it will suggest us to improve the things whatever that have been there in the whatever happened in the previously according to the present trend. So that's where case study method will help us, and case study method will enhance the experience of the researcher, and this increase his analyzing ability and skill. So when you do the case study, so he is going to have he can get some experience, because he may feel that for implementing one case study you have to do a lot of experiment, right? Like from the basic level to till today date what happened. So all the things if you start implementing step by step, then you are going to have the analyzing the things from basic level to in a particular year to year what happened, and recent days what happened, and 2010 to 20 if you take 2020 to 10 to 20 what has happened, and previously 2000 to 2010 what kind of materials that are available on that time. So this kind of situations you can analyze, and you are going to get the ability analyzing skills, and you can think in a different perspective as well. If you do the case study methods, and the case study techniques are indispensable for therapeutic and administrative purposes. They are also immense value in taking decisions regarding the several management problems. So even in recent days, case study methods are useful in academics also. What they will do, they are going to do the previously whatever the examinations they have been conducted. If they have faced any problems, those things they are going to identify, and next time the same kind of situation if it comes, is going to look at the solution for that, because he has already done, right? He already knows that this kind of problem, this kind of situation, if you get, you have to apply this particular method to avoid that particular things, right? That's where case study method also will help us. Then conclusion. Despite of the aforementioned limitations, we also find that case studies are being undertaken in several disciplines, particularly in sociology in recent days, as a tool of scientific research in view of the several advantages indicated earlier. Most of the limitations can be removed if researchers are always conscious of this and are well trained in the modern methods of collecting case collecting the case study data, and in the scientific technique of assembling, classifying, and processing the same data. Besides, case studies in modern times can be conducted in such a manner that the data are amenable to quantification and statistical treatment. So here means what you are going to give the conclusion from the things that we discussed earlier. If you see whatever things that we discussed, always the case study will give us the present, the past to present and modern techniques and different techniques, scientific techniques that are available, and from that you can also classify the things, and then you can also understand the how to process the data with the different perspectives. And also in the recent days, it is going to give us the quantification and the statistical treatment, because in the olden days people are not aware of the statistical methods, and recent days if you see, statistical models are come into picture, and it has been become nowadays very popular, because whatever the things that we are going to get nowadays is completely depends on the statistical analysis and statistical modeling only. So possibly this is also the reason why case studies are become very popular day by day. That's where the case studies has become popular in these days. So with this, this model is done. If you have any queries in this, madam, just see. If you have any queries in this,
Sir, can you please just mention how can we take this as a research part? Means case study, I am a pharma person, so I will think about case study in a diagnostic way. Some patient is having some problems or something like that. What other perspectives can it happen, case study?
like if you are looking at the diagnosis level, madam, like if you see, you cannot go to directly going to give the some kind of injection, right? What you are going to do? You are going to understand how your what kind of, suppose skins also have different kinds of skins. You
Yes,
need to
yes.
insert that particular injection in a different levels, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that also comes under the problem. Like you need to
So,
understand.
so it should be like case study involves a set of say patients or a set of things, then it can be one. Like many case studies we have to do, then we can come to a conclusion, right, sir?
Yes, madam. Actually, thing is case study is nothing but like you need to understand what has happened already.
Okay, okay, sir.
Like and that if you start implementing, then
Hmm.
you come to know, you can feel the things. So this kind of situation it comes how you have to approach. Like that, just now what I am saying, like when you want to inject something, you may be facing with the different skin effects with the different
Correct, correct,
persons, right?
correct, correct, correct.
Yeah, that those things you can come to know when you look at the about particular topic, like how to inject the particular injection to the patients.
Correct.
If you look at that, you just started different kinds of skins, and then you are going to analyze this kind of skin. If you receive, you have to give in this particular direction. Those things you maybe get. I think you maybe come across these all the things now.
Yes, yes, sir, yes. Okay,
So
correct.
that's nothing but the case study, right? Case study is not like completely, because here they have given it generally. It has to cover with the technology, medical, and all the things.
Okay, okay,
Management, even including science and technology as well.
okay, 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 sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah, that's it.
So can we see this case study in pure mathematics also? Pure maths.
Case study in mathematics, madam?
Pure, yes, sir, pure maths papers.
Yeah, yes, madam. Because case study means you are doing the previous existing studies you are looking at, right?
Yes, sir.
So that studies, when you are implementing, if you are getting the same results, is fine. Means you can analyze from the basic level to till today part. Means now you know from where to where you have to give this particular reference. Like if you see, look at the even in terms of, as you said, pure, madam, like linear algebra, right? Let us take some linear algebra.
Okay, sir.
So
Sir, can I answer for this?
yeah, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, madam, you can do like why the intermediate or 10th standard or 8th standard students, they are facing problem in mathematics. So those things, so we may consider as a research problem, so that we can give the reasons, so why they are facing the problem. Like that. Okay, that is also comes under case study. Already existing things will be there. So those who are already passed out peoples are there. You can ask them, and you can easily get the result, and you can do the case study in that way.
Okay.
Any other questions? If no questions, I will start introduction about the fourth module. Fourth module, I'll just introduce fourth module. I'll just give us the basic things, and then we will start the session. If no questions, no queries, the chat box also, please. Okay, madam. I will stop sharing now. Yeah. So in the fourth module, if you see, we have the statistical mean, because as of now, what we did, we have been defined the problem that has been already
Measurement
has
of
been explained.
central tendency. బాబో ఇందాక వచ్చేసిరా
Madam? Hello? Okay. So,
Excuse me, sir.
yes, madam.
Can I just ask one doubt?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Sir, we have this left out, no, sir, data preparation and process. So that you'll be covering it later on, sir.
No, madam. Data preparation is nothing but I have already given the appropriate methods there, madam. That's why I'm not giving that.
Okay, so sir, in that we have questionnaire checking, editing, coding, classification, and all those. So we should be learning it from the textbook, sir.
You should be learning
From the textbook, whatever is there, that's all data preparation.
Yeah, the same thing, madam. Whatever we have been given, like appropriate methods, and that preparation only.
Yes.
Now that continued with the different methods in the fourth module.
ఏంటి రాస్తావా అవి మార్కులు అయ్యనా అది కన్వర్ట్ చేసేస్తాను.
What happened, madam? See, that's what I'm trying to give now, madam. Let us understand first.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I will tell you the things what is happening now. Complete syllabus up to now, what is happened.
Yes.
How we are going to proceed now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
The thing is, we started with the basic research methodology and you know how to define the problem. And then now we know how to collect the data and we know there are different methods to select the appropriate data. Next, we need to prepare the data. Once you have the data, what you need to prepare, how you are going to prepare? We need to do some kind of analysis, right? That analysis is there in the fourth module. Is it clear now? So now, up to now, what we did, we are defining the research problem, and about that particular research problem, we know how to collect the data, and it may be primary or secondary. And now, once you are done with this, we need to process that particular data. How? That is, if you want to process that particular data, what we have to do? We need to understand about the particular data that we have, what it is actually exactly. We are getting data by doing some experiment, but without having the we can't say what it is, right? So that's where in the fourth module we have the to analyze the things, experimental data. We have some methods. That is, they have given the statistics. In the statistics, in the first topic is measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency is nothing but averaging methods. So averaging methods you may be seen in the, you may be knowing already. I'm just giving you introduction. So averaging is nothing but what will give us average. Suppose if you have an average, how you are going to say on average this much percentage of students are getting first class, because we are going to take that particular data and then we are going to analyze and then we are going to see with respect to that particular measure the whole data it has to represent in a one point, right? See, I'll just look at the slides. So that's where measures of central tendency is nothing but average. It will give average as a single value which represents the entire data. Like suppose if you see, suppose if you have some kind of marks of the particular class, now you are going to say that in this particular class and on an average some they are getting marks as above 15. Means we have to say in a single word, that is nothing but average, right? And it indicates the center of the that particular distribution where it is going to be. So that's where it has given here. So see here 2, 4, 6, 8. We have this. What does it mean? Mean value. How you are going to calculate mean of this, average of this? Usually, what you are going to do for calculating average of this? What we are going to do, madam? Like, see, if you want to calculate average of 2,
We
4,
take the
8, 6, 8.
summation and
do?
divide with the number of units.
Sorry. What we will do? 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8. These are the some data that you got. So average means how many values that we have? 4.
By 4.
Calculate this. You are going to get the average of this particular curve. Whatever. If it is a curve, it is a curve. If it is a data, if it is a data. Okay. So according to the Cranston and Cowden, an average is a single value within the range of the data that is used to represent all the values in the series. So what we have to do by saying this particular data is having the average of the mean 5. So we are saying about this particular data in a single word about that particular. Suppose it may be the experiment also. In the experiment, what we can say, if you see here, on an average, the effect of that particular effect is showing this particular value. So that is the way you have to do some kind of analysis, right? And since the average is somewhere within the range of data, and it is sometimes called as measures of central value. So now, what does meant by average is nothing but It represents the entire data in a single word. So that is single value. That is called average. Then what is the purpose and functions of central tendency? So in that, brief description of data and formulation of policies according to the data that we have, and we need to do some statistical analysis of that particular data. Brief description of data presents simple and systematic description of raw data. So what in general what are the data that we have? We are going to have some kind of raw data. I'll show you the examples also. And average reduces mass data into single figure. And these are the common things that we see. And one can draw the conclusion about the whole raw data with just a single figure. So these are the common things that we see in when you are when you are looking at the data. Means we have to give some kind of information about the particular data. And comparison. It will make comparison different sets of data. And so suppose, for example, he has given XYZ state is much less than the PQR states. And it can be concluded that XYZ is state low income state compared to the PQR state. So, these different kinds of comparisons that can be done. And helpful information of policies. So now, let us see the present day, what happened on the basis of average figure, what we will do. Government of any country can formulate the policies. How? So, for example, let us see that the government of India finds that per capita income in India is very low. It can be formulate suitable policies to improve the standard of the people. So for that, what they have to do? They have to make some policies. The policies, what are the main things that commonly will be there? So the policy, financial schemes, social schemes, subsidies, and jobs. Depends on the job. These policies also will vary, right? So they are going to see and what kind of persons we have to give this kind of what are the policies that we made, and then they are going to see some kind of analysis. So if you have job with some so money, so this is the particular scheme is not going to be applicable. So this kind of schemes they can be done when you have this kind of data, right? Kind of helpful formulation. We can make some kind of formulation for that either it may be an industry or whatever. Depends on you how you are looking. On the basis of statistical analysis. So when you look at the statistic, what we have to do, either we have to plot in terms of the pie charts or bar charts or this kind of charts, and then with that we can analyze the different production and in a different years. He has given some example as on the basis of sales of different models of a product, organization decides which model need to be produced in larger quantity. So they are given different sales values in a different years, different days, and like nature of items sold, number of items in a different days actually, not years. And depends on this data, what is you can conclude next further next week. You can give depends on this value. In a once a day we have very less, so that he has to produce production in less in this particular day, because otherwise it is going to be waste, right? So this kind of analysis if you want to do, we need the statistical analysis based on average. This is only based on average only, right? And average if you see, if you calculate average of this, then you can come to know exactly how much we need to produce in on an average in a day. So this kind of, if you want to do this kind of analysis, we need average. And there are different types of averaging methods are available, that are mean, median, and mode. So about this, we'll discuss in the next class clearly. and what kind of situations, how you are going to calculate the mean, and because we may be having the different kinds of data, sometimes continuous data, sometimes interval data, sometimes discrete data. So how you are going to deal with the data. So these things we can discuss in the next classes. If you have any queries in this group, any queries? Any queries, madam? Because we just introduced the what kind of averaging methods are there, and where and why we require the averaging methods, right? And also, when you see, most of the time we are doing the experiment without calculating the averaging methods or something statistical analysis, we can't proceed and we can't give a proper conclusion about the experiment that we have done.
Sir, will you be covering SPSS as well?
No, I'm not going to cover in SPSS, madam.
Okay, sir.
No. Because those who are good at SPSS, they can teach one day, madam. If anyone is good at SPSS or something else, even response surface methods are there, right? Most of the time, chemistry and physics, they use it, right, for plotting different kinds of surfaces after getting the data. And we also planning, like, suppose